let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the V3 implementation call. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Just a quick reminder, these meetings are recorded and shared on the NEMSIS website and YouTube channel, so feel free to share with your team or review them as needed. As always, we encourage participation, so please use the Q&A feature to submit questions, or you can raise your hand. We're trying something new to take attendance on these calls, so please take a moment to fill out the form in the chat. Vendors will need to complete the form to receive compliance credit for attending today. And I just want to say thank you so much for being willing to try something new. We really appreciate it. All right, now we will transition to John, who's going to lead our stakeholder introductions and give a call for 2025 records. It's also John's birthday, so join me in wishing him a happy birthday. John, take it from here.
Thank you. Let me share really quick. And here's just another way to fill out that form. Here's the QR code to fill out the attendance form if you don't have it already. I'll give everybody a few seconds to look at that. Thank you for all the thumbs up and applause for my birthday. I do appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and get started with the stakeholder introduction. We do this to get to know others on the call, build connections, and mostly because it's kind of fun. Unfortunately, we do not have anybody to introduce today. So if you think you filled out the form and I've not introduced you, please fill it out again. So here's a QR form code for that, because if you did, I've not gotten it. I've not received one since I think July of last year. So please, I really do enjoy doing these. Everybody seems to like them. They are a bit of fun. So if you've not been introduced, even if you've been here a little while, go ahead and fill out the form again, and let's put names to faces. I'm going to go ahead with the website review. So this is not a dashboard per se, but it's something that we like to keep up to date, and it's a tool that we have for everybody who uses. So I'll show you. We start from the NEMSIS homepage, and then we go to using the EMS data, and then NEMSIS 101. Then scroll down to state-specific tools and look at the state, territory, data managers, and vendor contact list. So this is what we have on file for every state as far as vendors and state data managers contacts. And also at the very bottom, we have two other tabs for vendor updates, receive and process, and collect and send. So if all of you on the call who are collect and send vendors, receive and process vendors, state data managers could take a moment and look at this and see if it's correct. If it is not correct, and I am pretty certain there are some changes that need to be updated, please submit a help desk ticket, and we will get those updated as soon as possible. If you've already submitted a help desk ticket for a change that's up here that's needed, you don't have to submit another one. It's just in the backlog. But that's it for the website review. And then, of course, save the date. This is this Friday. Please, please, please. And I know so many of you are already working on this. I don't mean to be beating a dead animal, but if at all possible, we need your data by the end of this week. Shout outs to go to several states who've really been pushing hard on this, and I do appreciate it. Thanks, Kelly. Not to call someone out. If there's anything I can do to help you, or anything that NEMSIS can do, if it means getting on the phone with somebody or sending an email to somebody, please reach out to me or just do a help desk ticket, and we'll do whatever we can to help. I'll even jump into different breakout rooms today if I need to talk to vendors. Just feel free to let me know. And if you want me to do that, just put something in question and answer, letting me know what you need me to do, and I'll be happy to do it. we are excited about the data set this year. It's already at 63 million, we're thinking. We'd love to see 65. That's what my money's on in the internal pool. So yes, I would love that. Karen, I think you have a question. I don't think that I can unmute you at this point. If you put your question in the question and answer, I'll get to it and I will get you an answer as quickly as I
I'm
can.
unmuted.
Oh, you are Karen. Thanks, Karen. Okay.
Thanks,
What's
everybody.
your
So, happy February, everybody. I have a quick question just for clarification. So typically, a demographic file is submitted, and I know you guys maintain the data for EMS agencies that have closed.
correct?
The reason I'm raising this, though, is in South Dakota, we've had a number of agencies close recently. And sometimes in the reports that you have, it might indicate that those ambulance services haven't submitted data. So I just wanted to raise this as a opportunity to say, is there a mechanism that you would like states to share with you when agencies may no longer be operating?
So they should fall off of most reports if they don't report for more than 2 months. They'll still show up in the warehouse and they'll still show up within the denominator as your state calls. But you can send me an email or do a help desk ticket, and we can manually change the number of agencies in your state so that the percentages stay correct. A percentage of agencies reporting is still would be correct. The warehouse is, I think, the only report that doesn't automatically have those agencies fall off for non-reporting. I know the main ones do, so it shouldn't be an issue. But just send me a text message or do a help desk ticket, and we can get the denominator at least corrected.
Okay, thank you very much. That's helpful.
Yep. Hey, Ridgely. I think you can unmute Ridgely.
I apologize. I'm out of the office for the last couple of days. Steve responded to me, but we're still having a lot of problems with page 25 from the crops in December. From a number of ambulance services, mostly using Zoll or AmbuPro for December. Is there any way to get an extension for like a few more weeks so that they can get their data in? I mean, some of the Zoll services are like they've got some serious. There's a lot of runs that are missing.
Yeah, I replied to your help desk ticket, and I was taking that to I'll take that to leadership today in office hours.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
John, there's a question in the Q&A for you.
Oh, it's not showing on my side. Could you just read it for me, please?
We need to contact you each time an agency is closed. Dipty wants to know.
We ask that you do it at least annually. We ask that all of the state data sets are updated annually, but you don't have to contact us if you don't want to. But that's the best way if you see an issue to do it. Yes. Right now, that's the best way to do it. Any other questions or concerns, comments? Wow, I usually don't get questions during my part. This was really exciting. Thank you. Hearing nothing else, I'll turn it back over to you, Amanda, and thank you all.
Okay, thanks, John. Next, we are going to have the maintenance update. Bengie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Amanda. I need to screen share real quickly, John. So
Can you just take over? Here we go.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so if you're not familiar, our maintenance schedule is found here on our website under technical resources, under NEMSIS maintenance schedule. These are the dates for the maintenance schedule. We're in the month of February, so if you have any disruptions or any other questions outside of those dates, please submit a help desk ticket. You can submit a help desk ticket here following this link or by clicking here on this red tab at the bottom of our website. Thank you. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Bengie. Now we'll hear the monthly report and an announcement about the annual meeting from Monet. Monet, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. And greetings, everyone. Let me share my screen, please. All right, fantastic. So I want to let you know that we currently have the January report available on the NEMSIS website. And I'm just going to do a quick high-level overview of the report. I wanted to mention that if you've been out of the office for some time and you just need to get a quick recap of what's happening with within the NEMSIS team and some of the activities that we're working on, this is a great way to have a high-level overview. You'll be able to see the links for the previous implementation calls. We have the information about the public training. Dr. Mann provided the last training, January 6th. We also have some information about the new NEMSIS data sets that are available on our website. And my colleague will actually review this information today as well on the call. Then we have some additional information about the critical patch. This section here that I'm showing where it says the V3.4, V3.5 data submissions, you'll notice here in the third paragraph that I have added the numbers, the counts for the 351 submissions. So we're currently at about 200,000 records from 815 agencies. So that's pretty exciting to start that we're seeing some 351 data come in. And then, of course, we have the information about compliant vendors and their status with their various updates. The other section that I wanted to mention on this page here where it talks about the public release research data set, we have some information. It's in this sentence here. The TAC fulfilled 38 data sets requests in January. And we also had 454 research data sets that went out in 2025. So that's pretty exciting. Here are some of the various types of articles that have been published utilizing NEMSIS data. And so we wanted to just make sure that you have this information available and you utilize it, share it with your other team members. You can this report is available for you. If you have any questions or you want to see you have suggestions for improving this document, then please let us know. We're here to consider your comments and your suggestions for improvement. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the NEMSIS annual meeting. So many of you have been asking, what are the dates? Here we go. October 5th through 9th, 2026. We're going to be at a new venue this year. It's called the Black Rock Mountain Resort in Heber, Utah. This resort is only 2 miles from Park City, so it's in the same vicinity where we were in previous years, but it's a new facility, and we're happy to have contracted with them for our next meeting. I also have a QR code here on the bottom if you want to go ahead and look at the rooms and start making those types of reservations. We will have additional information coming out hopefully next month with the actual registration portal. So as we're currently developing our agenda and we're developing the format for the meeting, we will have a landing spot for all of that information on the NEMSIS website. So we want to thank you so much for your patience. And we are also very excited to see you all because, as you can see here, we'll be celebrating 25 years of NEMSIS data collection and the standard. And many of you may have been around for that amount of time. So we are really excited to see you all come out and join us. If you have any questions about the annual meeting, please send me a text or enter a help desk ticket, and we'll start to create some responses for your questions. Are there any questions at this time? And if someone has a question, would one of my team members read it out for us?
Chris was asking about how to get the states to update their 351 go live dates, but he can open up the help desk ticket and we can update for him on the website.
Yeah. So thank you for that question. I think John will take care of that. If there are any questions related to the annual meeting, please let us know. I'm going to actually share the link in the chat. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. And back to you, Amanda.
All right, thanks, Monet. Next, we have Randall with a couple of NASEMSO updates, as well as an update on violence against EMS and custom elements. Randall, take it away.
All right, I'm going to share my screen here. And Amanda, are you seeing the NASEMSO slide?
Yes, we are.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So for NASEMSO's update here, this is specifically for Samantha from ESO who missed it last week, but the 2026 NASEMSO annual meeting is April 26th through the 30th in Kansas City, Missouri. The QR code will lead you directly to the registration page. Room blocks are starting to fill up. Registration is still a little bit low, but it's a great time to sort of get involved and get that signed up for. The other update we have for the NASEMSO is about our extended data definitions. I think it's just been a few weeks or a few months since we've updated everyone. The data managers have a goal of completion for version 3.5.1 planned for the NASEMSO annual meeting. The data managers are completing the definitions for the field values for some of the newer data elements within version 3.5.1. Here's just a list of the ones that they're working on, which is the e-procedures 14, e-procedures 15, e-medications 13, and e-scene 25. They have identified some other data elements that they would like to work on. They were existing from version 3.5.0, but these ones are specifically for version 3.5.1. Just kind of moving into my next topic here of the guidance documents. I know we've reviewed it several times on the NASEMSO website, where you can find some of the new guidance documents that have been created, not only by NASEMSO as a whole, but also by the Data Managers Council. If you're familiar with that website, it's an easy place for you to go ahead and grab them. Some quick screenshots for everybody here. We have worked really closely here with the NEMSIS TAC to make sure that those same guidance documents are present on the NEMSIS TAC website. So anyone who's more familiar with the NEMSIS website would be able to get those. Just a quick video here for everyone so that we know where to find them. So from the NEMSIS home page, we'll be going to using EMS data. Scrolling down to the NEMSIS 101. Very familiar to John's presentation, but we'll be scrolling all the way down to the state-specific tools. And on the very bottom there, you'll find a link for the NASEMSO guidance documents. When you go ahead and click on that link, it'll bring you the 3 guidance documents that were completed by the Data Managers Council. Any questions on the first 2 topics? All right, update here on the violence against EMS personnel. So last week we had kind of shown just a quick picture here of the 2 different types of forms. One is for your EPCR, and the other one is for the violence against EMS personnel. So the violence against EMS personnel needs to exist separately from the EPCR record, so that the violence information wouldn't be included in the patient care record that is shared with like receiving facilities, billings, or is discoverable. Existing NEMSIS data elements that were completed during the incidents could be populated into the violence against EMS personnel using the NEMSIS data elements standard. So kind of on a small scale here, we had kind of shown like how E-response 03 or the incident number relates to the new element for the that like the hazardous data set or the violence against EMS personnel, which will be H-response.01. E-scene 09, incident location type would then relate to H-scene .01 incident location type, and E patient 15 age will relate to H patient 13. So at a very small scale, I did want to kind of bring across the Excel spreadsheet here for everyone's eyes real quick. This is available on the NEMSIS website, and we will cover where to find that next. So just kind of a couple examples here. We can see like H dispatch is a new element that would need to be created. Kind of following the same pattern as the existing element of eDispatch 01. We know that the element name is the dispatch reason, the element definition. We have all the field values in here as well as the NEMSIS data type. So for the existing eDispatch 01, the NEMSIS data type is dispatch reason, and the recurrence stays the same at 1-to-1. What you'll notice that's different about this is we also want to be able to fill out this violence form if we're not on an incident or during the EPCR and where we're not actually dispatched to a call. So you'll see some additions to some of these data elements where we have the not applicable, not recording, not reporting. That way, if you need to fill those, if it's not applicable for the call, you wouldn't have to actually put anything in there. As we sort of scroll down a little bit further, we kind of have more examples of kind of where the pattern falls, especially within the patient. So you see like E patient 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's all very relative until we get down here to where we get down to H patient 10. So H patient 10, that leaves the H patient new element in just the sequential order. But you will be pulling it from E patient 14 from the EPCR. That's the race. The patient's race is defined by OMB. Once again, same field values. The data type for NEMSIS is the race, and then the one-to-many is still present. This entire list, when they're highlighted in white, is a data element that could be kind of pre-populated or sort of exists within the normal EPCR already. As we scroll down just a little bit further here, you'll see some of these are highlighted in blue. And these 4 that are highlighted in blue do not have an existing data pattern or existing data elements. So these would have to be completely new data elements that are created. Those have fit under the section of H supervisor. And as we continue down, we have all of our times. And we've added a new time under the H violence section. So it was the violent incident occurred date time. And that would be a very relevant data element for if you weren't actually on an incident and you still wanted to be able to fill out when the violent incident occurred. There are several more that follow the same pattern all the way down, and these will be available to everybody on the website. So we know that this is a lot of information. We're still kind of working on like a README page or like some kind of companion document to go with this to help everybody. But we really just wanted to make sure we could get it up on the website. So to find this document for to download, so starting from the NEMSIS homepage, we'll be going to the technical resources, guides and usage. Once we click that, we'll scroll down past UUID, past custom elements, the dataset guides, and you'll see a new section there, Violence Against EMS Personnel Data Dictionary. Go ahead and click the link. It'll allow you to download that Excel spreadsheet. Any questions on the violence piece? All right, and my last topic here is national custom elements. We got a lot of back and forth, just making sure that the elements are correct. They are not posted to the NEMSIS website at this time. They should be there any minute. Just to get a look at it for everyone, the first one is the E-medications 909, the blood facility ID number. And then the next one is emedications.910, medication status at the patient, transfer of care. And then there's a list of all the field values that we have approved with the Data Managers Council. So that should be up on the website any minute. It could be right after this call. Any questions on those? And that's all I have for today, Amanda, if there's no questions.
Okay, thank you, Randall. Next, we'll be hearing from Jeremy with an update from NHTSA, federal grant updates, and an update on pre-hospital blood. Jeremy, are you here? Perfect. Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Okay,
Yes,
great.
we can.
Apologies for the shadows. Yeah, so just a few updates on my end for our for the NHTSA Office of EMS regarding NEMSAC. We're still in the process of finalizing our NEMSAC membership. We're hopeful to have an update soon about that, and hopeful that we'll be able to restart our work with the committee regarding FICOMS, our Federal Interagency Committee on EMS. We are working on getting some public meetings scheduled. We're looking for one in May during EMS week and then one in December. So as those get scheduled, I'll make sure that folks are aware of those public meetings. Last week, we did have a well-attended Advanced Automatic Crash Notification, or AACN, meeting in person at the Department of Transportation. Again, it was really well attended. We had several of our CAD vendors, our 911 partners across the country. We had lots of folks from the EMS side there, and of course, we had the automobile manufacturers that were there as well. It was a great meeting, and there's not a recording of the meeting, but we are working on a summary report that will be released after we go through the review and concurrence process with the agency. So we'll make sure folks have a copy of that. I think the meeting really kind of highlights some of the challenges, but also the opportunities for us to improve notification when a crash occurs to a PSAP or to a 911 center. And what are our challenges and opportunities for us to then share that information to activate, EMS, fire, police to respond, and to share any information that's coming from the vehicle with responders when they're en route. So I think that's an area where NHTSA and the Department of Transportation will continue to have some focus, certainly over the next 2 to 3 years. One kind of additional piece related to that I think I've mentioned on some of the past calls is we are doing some work right now and trying to better kind of understand the landscape of CAD and ePCR integration, and how the e-dispatch data elements that are documented within the NEMSIS record, how is that information being documented? Is it coming from CAD? Is it being documented manually by clinicians? There's quite a lot of variation across the country in terms of, like, at the EMS agencies, state level and vendor level, how frequently that information is documented. And so we're trying to get a better handle on, like, hey, what's working really well for some vendors and states, so that we can kind of come up with a plan to expand and improve that data quality across the country. So we are going to be reaching out to a few states, and then hopefully some agencies and maybe some ePCR and CAD vendors as well. So be on the lookout for some emails from us regarding that initiative. Just transitioning into some grants real quick. I've kind of mentioned this on every call, but we do have the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program. The final year, which is fiscal year 26, the final year for grant funding will be announced in March, so next month. We do have one EMS-focused webinar that, let me see if I can pop this into the chat. that is available. It was recorded last March, so March 2025, but a lot of the information will be pertinent to this next FY26 grant opportunity. We are planning some additional SS4A webinars to also take place in March. We're looking at one specific to EMS and one specific to 911. And as those are announced, I'll make sure folks are aware of them. Let me just pop one more thing into the chat here. You know, as they are announced, it should come from our our kind of EMS update. So let me just, I think probably the easiest things for folks to do, if you don't have our EMS updates, if you're not on that listserv, you don't receive those emails, just go to ems.gov and scroll to the bottom of the page. And on the bottom right there, you'll see a link for registering for EMS focused webinars, but you'll also see a link for signing up for updates from our office. And as those SS4A webinars are announced, we will be sending out emails about the timing and when they are and how to register for them. So that's the EMS focus webinars and SS4A. And then I'll just mention again for our state partners, you know, we're just going to continue to encourage you to connect with your state highway safety office on funding opportunities, you know, and getting post-crash care and specifically pre-hospital blood and NEMSIS into the state highway safety plans. You know, now's a great time to start having those conversations. You know, post-crash care, NEMSIS, and pre-hospital blood transfusion is a priority for the agency. It's a priority for NHTSA leadership. So one ask I would have is, as you're having conversations with your state highway safety partners about getting those items implemented into the state highway safety plan, we would love to hear about your successes. But also if you're running up against any barriers and the response back from the state highway safety office is, you know, we don't have the funding to support those or they're not eligible, please let us know, because that's something that we can, we want to hear about, because then we can have conversations internally with NHTSA leadership and others about, you know, what's going on at the state level and the messages that you're getting. And if they are incorrect or not accurate, you know, that's something that we can follow up on. And then just transitioning finally here to pre-hospital blood and our pre-hospital blood initiatives. You know, the NEMSIS team is working on several public-facing reports and tools that we're really excited about. So stay tuned for more updates on those items that are coming in the next couple of months. And that's all I have for today. Unless folks have questions, I'm happy to answer them. All right. Well, folks that have questions now, again, you can always reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly. You can reach out to anyone in our office. If there's anything we can do for you, please don't hesitate to let us know. Oh, one other thing. The ONC annual meeting is taking place today and tomorrow. And I know I attended virtually this morning. There's it's virtual, it's free to attend virtually. I'm not sure. The plenary sessions and several of the keynotes were available to attend this afternoon. I think this morning, and I think this afternoon there's going to be things that you can attend virtually as well. And then tomorrow morning, I think there's items that you can attend virtually. So I will pop a link to that in the chat as well. So if you have a particular interest in, you know, interoperability, healthcare data, you know, from the federal perspective, they've had several really interesting panels this morning on, you know, healthcare payers, people working kind of, again, in kind of that healthcare interoperability space. So that's a great event to attend if you can. Thanks. All right, looks like Jonathan, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Sorry,
hear you.
can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
Hi. Sorry. I just wanted to double down on what you just said, Jeremy. I'm actually at the conference. I'm presenting tomorrow on EMS and fire data interoperability at 10:40 in the morning. So if anybody's here, or whether it's state officials, other tech companies, et cetera, some of you are getting shouts out tomorrow. So look forward to that. But I'm the EMS/fire/mobile medicine, community paramedicine, critical care, ambulance service, all the things representative for in the data liquidity section. Now we're going to talk about the importance of getting data out of the ambulance into the healthcare system and back to the patient when they need it. So hope to see some of you. But like I said, several of you are going to get called out in a positive fashion. So look forward to that. And I'll share notes afterwards. Anybody has any questions? Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. I'll just mention, I know my manager, our director of the Office of EMS should be there this afternoon. So Gam will be there this afternoon. If folks want to connect with him, please do so. I don't think he'll be there tomorrow. And if you're there in person and you have someone on your team that's there in person and you want to connect with him, just shoot me an email and I can connect you guys up. So good luck, Jonathan.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeremy. Now we're going to transition to public use data subsets. Let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so we wanted to share that the web-based public release datasets are now available on the website. So you can find them by going to NEMSIS.org, and then over here next to technical resources is NEMSIS datasets. And maybe, sorry, looks like I'm having connectivity problems. Okay, so these are the subsets. I'm just going to click on one. So these data sets are built using the research data set for each of the specified years, and they apply the case definition criteria to filter EMS activations down to the appropriate research population. The variables included were selected with analysis in mind, while also trying to keep the files manageable and not overly huge. We'd really appreciate your feedback, especially if there are additional variables that you'd like to see included, or if you feel the data sets are still too large and need to be streamlined further. Just go ahead and open a help desk ticket and let us know, and we'll be happy to work on that. Also, just a heads up, we will be adding additional years for the case definitions in the near future. Okay, so that is all that we have for you today. So let's go over the upcoming meetings. Our next V3 implementation call will be Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. And our next public training will be Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, and we'll cover NEMSQA measures. Before we wrap up, let's open the floor for any questions or comments. Use the QA feature or raise your hand and we can answer any questions.
Hi, again. Amanda, can you please go to the NEMSIS website and then go to the state of South Dakota? I want to reflect back to one of the comments made by, when I posed the question, and then emergency networking also put in there, how do we get states to update their 3.5? And then the answer was submit a help desk. Go all the way to the bottom, please. So if you can scroll up just a tad more. So where it says implementation timeline, South Dakota will have an update in here. And I think the question that was really being asked is, what can the NEMSIS TAC do to help states correct their timelines and add more information? As an example, the state of South Dakota is on NEMSIS version 3.5.1 for our direct entry users, but we are not yet ready to accept data. So the statements that are listed there are misleading because of the word accepting. So I will be providing on behalf of the state of South Dakota some additional language. So South Dakota's will end up having 4 items is my current thought. But I think that could help as a reference to say, okay, the state plan data is to go live. Well, our target for having resources is, and all agencies must be submitting version 3.5.1 by X date. So I think that's the information that was really being asked for previously. And I'd love to hear from, Chris from Emergency Networking and anybody else who might have thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Let me just look through. Let's see. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions or comments, we'll head out into the breakout rooms.
Amanda, there's 2 questions in the Q&A.
Oh,
I believe both
so
are
sorry.
most likely for Randall. Oh, you're fine.
I was looking at the answered. My apologies. Aaron is asking, are the new national custom elements e-medications dot 909 through 910 intended for both 350 and 351?
I believe the answer to that is yes. I don't know of any restrictions for a custom or for a national custom element. So I would say yes. If Josh Legler or Clay is on the phone, he could probably give a better answer. So yeah, I don't believe there's any restriction on the version. It's just a national custom element. They would just be implemented just like other national custom elements have in the past.
Hey, Randall, it's Josh. I finally got unmuted.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
I agree with you.
Perfect. And then next question is, were there any timelines given on the violence against EMS providers data? When could it be submitted? So the violence against EMS personnel, that would not that data would not actually be submitted up to the national level. There's right now it's just a data dictionary to sort of standardize the collection of that, and that would be used at the state and local level. I'll ask Josh to assist me again if I've misspoken.
Okay, got unmuted again. Yeah, there's no XML schema for this. It's a new document type that, the Excel spreadsheet and accompanying kind of guide will be all the resources provided at this time. So a local vendor could go ahead and build out that document type, build out the data elements, the database that they would need to store that data. But there's no associated schema for how you would actually export that data in some format and send it to some other system and so on. That'll be future work for the NEMSIS TAC.
Right. Thanks again, Josh. And I don't think the last question is for me necessarily. I'll read it out loud, though. It's from Dipti. Do we know if all EPCR vendors have implemented the custom elements? I can't answer that if they've all done it. There's a process there that, once the national custom elements are created, that the vendors would have the kind of the technical requirements to build those out. I would just have to say if nobody has asked the vendor for that specific national custom element, there is a chance that it hasn't been built. But the vendors, I think, would be able to answer that question the best.
Yeah, and since I'm still unmuted, I agree. I'll also mention that the compliance testing process, every year it selects a few of the national custom elements to test, but it doesn't test every national custom element every year. So vendors that haven't implemented the national custom elements will find themselves a little behind the ball when they go through compliance testing, and all of a sudden they need to implement a new custom element just to get through testing. So the incentive is for vendors to go ahead and implement all national custom elements, but ultimately you got to ask your vendor if they've done it.
Thanks again, Josh. And Amanda, I don't see any other questions in the Q&A if there's any other questions.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any either. I'm just going to give it one more minute just to see. While we're waiting, vendors, you need to join your assigned breakout room for today's call. Please join only your designated room and don't enter other breakout rooms without permission. And then, as always, while in breakout sessions, we just ask that everybody keep conversations professional and respectful. And if there are no more questions, then you should see a prompt on your screen to join the breakout room. And thank you for your participation today. We know that everybody is extremely busy, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Have a great day.